Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Sorry for the delay in videos. I was very unwell last week. I'm feeling a lot better in myself today, so I've decided to make some videos. Going to try and make quite a few this week if I can, just to catch up. So today is a review of the custom DVD I have of WCW Mayhem 99 Tournament of Champions. So a 32-man tournament began just after Halloween Havoc to crown a new WCW champion. And then we have 3 of the tournament matches take place during this pay-per-view. That's the 2 semi-final matches and the final match. There's the spine, disc, and if you were to read the back there's the back. So this was held November 21st, 1999 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada at the Air Canada Centre. Attendance we had 13,839, and this replaced the pay-per-view of WCW World War III, which was held in November in the years prior to this. So this is the first of 2 WCW Mayhem pay-per-views, which also helped put out a video game for the PlayStation, Game Boy Color and Nintendo 64, and also a music soundtrack on CD. So we had 12 matches to get through in this pay-per-view. We kicked things off with Chris Benoit against Jeff Jarrett in a World Heavyweight Championship tournament semi-final match. It was a very good opener. I did enjoy it. Some great exchanges between both wrestlers. But unfortunately, we had interference from the Harris brothers, Ron and Don. But I think they might have been called Patrick and Gerald or something at this time before they got renamed. But yeah, you might also know them in WWF in the DOA as 8-Ball and Skull. But yeah, this was a pretty cool match, as I said. Chris Benoit picking up the victory despite the numbers game going on with the interference. We had a singles match for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship next. Disco Inferno put his Cruiserweight Championship on the line and $25,000 because he owed money to the Mafia apparently, and he had Tony Marinara after him, breathing down his neck, asking for his money back because he's been running up gambling debts or some crazy shit like that. And he took on Evan Courageous, who had his girlfriend Medusa with him. So this match, it was pretty poor, to be honest. Disco got a pre-match beatdown as well before he even got to the ring. And yeah, he pretty much screwed himself over with everything. You know, he owed the money to the Mafia, plus, you know, too much at stake for him. He had so much to lose. And yeah, he did lose as well to Evan Courageous, who beat him for the Cruiserweight Championship and $20,000 or $25,000. Can't remember what it was now, guys. Sorry, I think it was $25,000, but it doesn't matter. He's lost the money anyway, or he did. Moving on, Hardcore Championship match to crown the first ever Hardcore champion. So we had Norman Smiley dressed in, like, I don't know how do we call it, like padded body protection, like I was gonna say body armor, but it's not body armor. He had like hockey kind of pads and like shin pads and everything else, so he doesn't take too much damage, kind of thing, if you see what I mean. And he took on Brian Knobbs, who was with Jimmy Hart. It was quite a fun hardcore match. I always do like these kind of matches, especially from back then, from both WWF and WCW when they put them on. They're very entertaining. Started off in the ring, plenty of weapons, the usual shit, you know, like the trash cans that bend easy and stuff. And then we had had them go out the back and just throw boxes and food and stuff at each other, and then have a brawl in the elevator. And Norman Smiley managed to pick up the victory after Jimmy Hart had hit Brian Knobbs with a trash can, thinking it was Norman Smiley after he came out of the elevator. So yeah, Norman Smiley, the new hardcore champion back then. Pretty cool. We had the Revolution, which was Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko and Asia, who were with Shane Douglas, against the Filthy Animals of Eddie Guerrero, Billy Kidman and Tori Wilson, who were with Conan, in an intergender elimination tag team match. So this was pretty cool. It came down to, believe it or not, it came down to Perry Saturn and Tori Wilson. and this is crazy, guys. I'll say this to you very carefully. So Perry Saturn picked up the win for the Revolution after low blowing Tori Wilson. Honestly, I'm not making this shit up, guys. It's crazy, isn't it? I had to word it, try and word it correctly as I could, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, Saturn picked up the win for the Revolution team. Moving on, we had a retirement match between Curt Hennig and Buff Bagwell. If Curt Hennig had lost any match from now on by pinfall, he'd be gone basically from WCW. Buff Bagwell got a pre-match beatdown, similar to what happened with Disco Inferno, but it's by different wrestlers this time. It was Ron and Don Harris. Yes, them again, guys. Who were working for Vince Russo as, what were they called? I can't remember the name. There's some creative team or some shit. But yeah, it was Vince Russo and his henchmen were Ron and Don Harris doing all the dirty work for him. And obviously they were trying to keep Curt Hennig in WCW. But yeah, Buff Bagwell got a pre-match beatdown. The match, when it did eventually get underway, it was okay. And Buff didn't really get, Curt Hennig didn't really get much of an offense in because he didn't really have a chance to interference from Ron and Don Harris. Surprise, surprise again. And Buff Bagwell surprisingly winning the match and retiring poor Curt Hennig after hitting a blockbuster. Only one blockbuster though to win this match. But yeah, that was that. Average kind of match, I guess. We had our next semi-final WCW tournament for the World Heavyweight Championship. WCW World Heavyweight Championship semi-final match, second match of the evening. Bret Hart versus Sting. So this was it was entertaining but annoying at the same time. Again, interference. The key word being interference again in this pay-per-view on this night. Absolutely crazy booking WCW back then. Unbelievable stuff. But yeah, for what match they had, it was pretty cool up to the point where Lex Luger came out with a baseball bat. I assume it belonged to Sting or something. I can't remember from back then. Did he steal it from him? Maybe, I can't remember. But yeah, he had it and he attacked Sting. So he beat the shit out of Sting with the baseball bat. Then Bret started to attack Lex Luger. The referee was also taken out as well. And when the referee recovered, he looked at Sting, who was lying on the floor in pain, while Bret Hart was beating up Lex Luger. And then Sting got DQ'd. Sting, yeah, got DQ'd. What the fuck? And Bret was like, no, I'm not having that. No, restart the match. I want to win this clean. I want a fresh win. I don't want any DQ victory, which was nice of Bret Hart, I guess. But it was a bit unfair on Sting, who couldn't put up much of a fight. He just got beaten the shit out of by a Lex Luger with a baseball bat. Oh, Lex Luger called the Total Package. Sorry, I forgot he renamed himself here. But yeah, Sting didn't really stand a chance, and Bret managed to beat him with his own finisher move. I know it's the sharpshooter and the Scorpion Deathlock different names, same fucking move, isn't it? But people are going to argue about that till the end of time, aren't they? What's it really called? Who really owns the rights to that move? And I don't know. I don't know. Don't know what to say about that. Don't care, to be honest. It's a Scorpion Deathlock. There. Let's end it at that. But yeah, Sting getting defeated by Bret Hart by submission. But anyway, after the match, they hugged and everything, and that was pretty cool. Good sportsmanship. Next up, we had Vampiro against Berlin in a dog collar match. And oh my god, guys, this was absolutely fucking terrible. An awful match. And Vampiro didn't even get a chance to put the dog collar on Berlin. Instead, the Wall had it on for a while, and the Wall was beating the hell out of Vampiro. Well, Berlin was pissing about outside the ring with Jerry Only, who was with Vampiro. And towards the end of the match, when Berlin actually did get involved, it was a bit too late. And Vampiro just got him in a submission and beat him by submission. It was just a mess of a match. But yeah, Vampiro picking up the victory there in probably what I'd say the worst dog collar match I've ever seen, to be honest. Another really bad match, unfortunately. Next up, we had the total package, Lex Luger again, with Elizabeth against Meng. And obviously, the beating that Bret Hart gave him because he came out and interfered in the Bret versus Sting match earlier in the evening. Lex had a neck brace on, complaining that he had neck problems and that. And Meng couldn't put his Tonga death grip on him, the submission that he likes to use. It was quite difficult to apply, but he managed to get around it in the end and pick up the victory. But again, that was just another one of those very messy matches, unfortunately. Next up, we had Scott Hall, who was both United States Heavyweight Champion and World Television Champion in WCW. He put his titles up to it was basically an open challenge to anyone in the locker room who wanted to challenge him. Come down, both championships are on the line. Let's see who comes out, and it was Booker T. So Booker T challenged him, and again, started off as a good match, very entertaining, and more outside interference. Again, same shit. Ruined another good match. Scott Hall managed to retain both the championships because of this. Very bad indeed. So match number 10 next, guys. There's 12 matches, as I said. We're almost at the end, sorry. So match number 10, we had David Flair, who's been stalking his opponent, who is Kimberly Page, in a one-on-one singles match. Well, this another pointless thing that they shouldn't have even bothered having this on the pay-per-view, to be honest. So basically, we had David Flair with his crowbar attacking everybody like some sort of psychopath. Anyone who comes near him, basically, he just beat them up with his crowbar, and he attacked the referee during the match and anyone that came out to help. Kimberly tried to low blow him. He was wearing like one of those cup things, and she managed to get that off him and out of his trousers or whatever. And it's just a dreadful match, guys. We just had like DDP trying to come and help Kimberly. We had Canyon try to help her. We had Arn Anderson try to protect David Flair from a beating from DDP, only for Flair to beat him up with the crowbar. There's basically a no contest. Absolute waste of time. Waste of pay-per-view time as well. Match number 11. Goldberg versus Sid Vicious. So Sid Vicious asked Goldberg for an I Quit match because he never technically lost, in a way, at the Halloween Havoc 99 match they had the month prior to this, because it was it ended through referee stoppage, if I remember rightly. Sid had lost a lot of blood. So Sid wanted to, wanted to have this I Quit match with Goldberg. And Sid was pushed quite heavily around this time, which was good. He made a really good, giant killer heel kind of thing. It was cool. But he didn't really stand a chance in this match against Goldberg, did he? We all knew it was going to be Goldberg who was going to win, and Goldberg did win, but Sid didn't say, I quit. But Goldberg managed to make Sid Vicious pass out. I think it was with a Cobra clutch. So, yeah, Goldberg won by technical submission. In an okayish kind of match. Sorry, guys. Right, moving on. Sorry about that, guys. Match number 12, the final match of the evening, is the tournament final for the vacant WCW World Heavyweight Championship. So, after all 32 men have gone through the tournament, we're now at the last two, and it's two Canadians in the final. We have Bret the Hitman Hart against Chris Benoit. What a dream match. And to be honest, it was a dream match for what it was. But, keyword coming into play again now, guys. Guess what it's going to be? That's right, that word, interference, that word I love so much that I go on about in other pay-per-views as well, or I talk about from this kind of time period. Ah, dear, what a letdown. Honestly, it did let it down. We had interference from Dean Malenko. The Outsiders, why the fuck did they need to get involved as well? Why the fuck did Dean Malenko need to get involved? Well, yeah, I suppose he was attacking Chris Benoit, but that was someone he wanted to have a feud with at the time, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the Outsiders, I don't really remember why they needed to get involved. I don't know. And then, yeah, Goldberg as well. Well, I know he was, I guess he was trying to get the Outsiders out of the ring because he was having a scrap with them outside afterwards. But more to the point, did we really need all that interference? No. No, we didn't. But if you just take the interference out of the equation, Bret Hart and Chris Benoit had some great exchanges in the match, some good moves. And I remember Chris Benoit doing a jumping tombstone pole driver on Bret Hart. That looked very cool and very effective. Yeah, there were times when I thought Chris Benoit was going to win the match, and unfortunately it went to, well, not unfortunately, because I'd like Bret Hart as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't Chris Benoit's night, should I say. Bret Hart managed to defeat Chris Benoit by submission and become the new WCW World Heavyweight Champion. And obviously they celebrated afterwards with Bret Hart's family coming in the ring and Bret waving the Canadian flag around. So it was like 2 years after he'd lost the World Heavyweight Championship in the WWF in that cruel fashion, that screw job thing. Exactly 2 years. Yeah, exactly 2 years later, he gets a World Heavyweight Championship back again, but obviously in a different company. But it's strange why it took 2 years for WCW to even put him into the world title picture. You would have thought he would have been moved into that within the first 6 months of him being in the company. But I'm glad he won it. It was a good way to end the tournament and end the evening. And obviously, it was a few months after the passing of his brother Owen. But yeah, all in all, this pay-per-view had, as I said, lots of interference everywhere. It was very off-putting at times. The crowd were quite rude, I thought, in places, just saying boring a lot and just booing half the stuff I thought was quite cool. With exception of the tournament final, they were really into that, obviously, because it was an all-Canadian final as well, wasn't it? So that was pretty cool. Yeah, all in all, guys, I give this a 5 out of 10. If you're going to watch it, skip quite a few of them, especially like that David Flair, Kimberly Page I won't even call it a match. But yeah, skip that. Maybe skip that Meng versus the total package as well. Some of the matches are good, and it's just, as I said, let down with interference. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, guys. Sorry, because I haven't done this for so long, I'm just getting lost for words. Yeah, let me know your comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if I deserve one today. Hi to new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Very grateful to you all. I hope you all well. Stay safe. I'll try and catch up with you again soon. Got another video out today as well, hopefully. So yeah, please by all means check that out. And if you get a chance, check out the other review I've done for Mayhem 2000. Done it about a year ago, I think. Yeah. Cheers, guys. Stay safe. Peace.